Welcome to the opulent world of Sheikh Hamdan's fans, where the intricacies of royal life unfold like a tantalizing mystery. In this privileged realm, secrets lurk in every shadow, and the whispers of the palace guards hint at a world of ancient traditions and whispered scandals. As the door creaks open, a lone figure emerges, steeling himself for the unknown dangers that lurk beyond the threshold. The air is heavy with anticipation, the silence punctuated only by the soft rustle of fine silks and the distant whisper of intrigue. A palace guard stands sentinel, his expression a mask of granite, his voice low and steady as he delivers the decree. Sheikh Mohammed has commanded that you depart the palace before the night's veil is lifted. The words hang in the air like a challenge, a whispered promise of secrets yet to be revealed, and the fate that awaits beyond the palace walls. The words cut through Hamdan like a dagger, leaving him breathless and reeling. The finality of his father's decree is a crushing blow, a brutal severing of the ties that once bound him to his family, his home, and his heritage. The weight of his father's rejection settles upon him like a shroud, threatening to consume him whole. Behind him, his wife's gasp is a stark reminder of the devastating impact of his father's words. Her trembling grip on his arm is a poignant expression of her fear, her uncertainty, and her unwavering loyalty. "Harman, what are they saying?" she whispers, her voice trembling like a leaf in an autumn gale. Hamdan's eyes snap shut, his mind racing with the implications of his father's edict. When he opens them again, his gaze is icy, his determination forged in the fire of his father's rejection. "Exactly what I expected," he says, his voice low and even, a mask for the turmoil that rages within. "Baba says that if I do not obey him, I must leave my home, the only home I've ever known." The guard's gaze lingers, awaiting a response, as Hamdan stands tall, his shoulders squared, his eyes locked on the man before him. With a calm, unwavering tone, he declares, "Fine, I'm leaving." His wife's hand clenches around his arm, panic flickering in her eyes like a candle in the wind. "But where will we go, Harman?" she whispers, her voice trembling with uncertainty. "The world feels strange without you." Hamdan's face softens, his eyes burning with love and conviction. He cradles her face in his hands, his voice a gentle promise. "Wherever we go, we will be together. As long as you are with me, that is home." Tears spill down her cheeks like diamonds, but she nods, trusting him implicitly. He presses a soft kiss to her forehead, a silent vow to protect her from the uncertainties that lie ahead. Turning back to the guard, Hamdan's voice is firm, resolute. "We will leave before nightfall." The guard bows slightly, stepping back as Hamdan closes the door, the sound echoing through the silence like a promise of new beginnings. As he exhales slowly, Hamdan knows that this is only the beginning. Though he may have lost his father's favor, he has gained something far more precious, the unwavering trust of the woman he loves, and the unshakable conviction that together, they can face whatever lies ahead. His title, once a symbol of power and prestige, now feels hollow, a distant second to the love that burns within him. For her, he would surrender it all, forsaking the trappings of royalty for the simplicity of a love that knows no bounds. Together, they will face whatever challenges lie ahead, their bond forged in the fire of adversity. One truth remains, a constant heartbeat that pulses through his very being. Hamdan loves her with a ferocity that defies reason, a passion that will never let her go. The palace corridors may be silent, but within the confines of his private chamber, a tempest rages. His wife stands at the eye of the storm, her arms crossed, her face aflame with anger and hurt. The air is electric with tension, the silence between them is a palpable, living thing. Yet, even in the midst of turmoil, Hamdan's gaze never wavers, his eyes burning with a love that will not be extinguished. Hamdan's gaze never wavers as he watches his wife, her eyes blazing with emotion, her voice laced with pain. "Harman, tell me something," she begins, her words dripping with anguish. "When your father demanded you divorce me, why did you remain silent? Why didn't you defend me, fight for me?" Hamdan's heart sinks, knowing this moment was inevitable. He exhales slowly, his temples throbbing with tension. "I needed to hear him out," he explains, his voice calm but weighted. "I needed to understand what I was up against." But his words only seem to inflame her pain. "Understand?" she scoffs, her eyes flashing with hurt. "You call that understanding? Your father was ripping our marriage apart, and you just stood there, silent, unmoving. Not once did you speak up for me, Not once did you defy him." Her voice cracks, and Hamdan's chest constricts with emotion. He reaches out, gently taking her hands, but she pulls away, turning her back on him. "You think I didn't want to fight for you?" he whispers, his voice soft, pleading. "You think it wasn't tearing me apart inside? I was standing before the man who raised me, the man I obeyed my whole life. But I knew that if I spoke out, I'd lose everything. I was never going to leave you, my love. I just needed to choose my words carefully, to ensure I didn't lose you in a moment of blind." His wife turns back to him, her eyes brimming with tears, her voice heavy and hurt. "And what about me, Hamdan? I wasn't thinking about strategy or careful words. I was thinking about my husband, standing in silence while his father destroyed our marriage." Hamdan's eyes betray the depth of his emotions as he recalls the agony of his father's command. His fists, clenched at his sides, speak of the desperation that threatened to consume him. He longs for her to understand the silent battle he waged, the weight of his father's expectations that he carried on his shoulders. "You're not the only one who's hurting," Hamdan whispers, his voice barely above a whisper. "I was fighting to preserve our love, to protect us from the storm that threatened to tear us apart. If I had given in to my anger, if I had let my emotions get the better of me, I fear I would have lost us forever. I had to remain calm, to hold on to my resolve, no matter how fragile it seemed." He edges closer, his voice a gentle whisper, his eyes locked onto hers with unwavering devotion. "Tell me, did I divorce you?" he asks, his words dripping with emotion. Her lips part, but no words emerge, only a faint gasp. Hamdan's gaze never wavers, his eyes burning with conviction. "Did I obey him? Did I let you go?" he presses, his voice soft yet unyielding. Tears well up in her eyes, and she looks away, her arms crossing tightly over her chest once more. Her anger still simmers, but now it's tempered with a glimmer of understanding. Hamdan's hand reaches for hers, holding it firmly when she tries to pull away. His voice overflows with love and adoration. "I will always fight for you, even if it's not in the way you expect. My love for you isn't in words, it's in my actions. And my actions speak for themselves. I chose you, I lost everything for you. If I had to do it again, I would do it 100 times over." Her gaze drifts back to his, her lips trembling as she struggles to maintain her defenses. But the truth in his words is undeniable, and eventually, her shoulders sag, the fight draining out of her. Hamdan's thumb gently wipes away a tear from her cheek, his voice barely above a whisper. "I love you too much to ever let you go. You know that, don't you?" She closes her eyes, a faint nod the only indication of her surrender. Hamdan's relief is palpable as he pulls her into his arms, holding her close as the world around them melts away. The fragile truce is shattered as she wrenches herself from his grasp, her body trembling with a maelstrom of emotions. Her chest heaves with ragged breaths, her face a ravaged landscape of tears and anguish. The fury in her eyes is a palpable force, a wildfire that threatens to consume them both. "You think you can just utter empty words and undo the damage?" she spits, her voice a trembling blade of anger and pain. "You think you can claim to love me after standing idly by while your father demeaned me, while he treated me like a disposable plaything?" Her words are a lacerating rebuke, a scathing indictment of his failure to protect her. Hamdan's jaw clenches, his eyes burning with regret and guilt. He's witnessed her upset before, but never with such ferocity, never with such a deep wellspring of pain. He takes a tentative step forward, but she recoils, her head shaking violently as fresh tears cascade down her cheeks. "You let him humiliate me, Hamdan," she sobs, her voice breaking. "You let him treat me like nothing, and you stood there, silent, unmoving. Do you have any idea how that felt? Do you have any concept of the agony that ripped through me when I saw the man I love, the man who swore to protect me, say nothing?" Her words are a raw, gaping wound, a testament to the unfathomable pain he's inflicted upon her. Hamdan's heart convulses with anguish, his voice barely above a whisper. "I know," his words hang in the air, a desperate attempt to bridge the chasm between them. "I heard you, but I swear I wasn't silent because I didn't care," he whispers, his voice cracking with emotion. "I was silent because I was thinking, because I needed to find a way to fight without making things worse." Her laughter is a bitter, shattered sound, a heartbreaking expression of the pain that threatens to consume her. She drops her hands from her face, her eyes glistening with unshed tears as she regards him. Every feature is etched with anguish, her expression a haunting testament to the depth of her sorrow. The air is heavy with the weight of her unspoken words, the silence between them a palpable,